Maya is a 25-year-old woman who entered a relationship with a successful doctor named Ammar Mahmoud. In the early days of their relationship, Maya thought she was living a dream. Ammar would take her to expensive places, give her gifts whenever he could, and also take her on private jet trips. After some time, Maya moved in with Ammar to his luxury apartment in New York City, and that's when things changed. Ammar revealed his true nature, and the dream Maya thought she was living turned into a nightmare. Maya Willow Sias is a 25-year-old woman from North Carolina, United States, who moved to Los Angeles, California, in pursuit of her dreams. Maya dreamed of becoming a model and a singer. Before that, she worked as an executive assistant, and during that time, she posted singing videos and several photos of herself on her social media. Quickly, she started gaining numerous followers, which fueled her dream of becoming a famous model and singer one day. Maya knew that Los Angeles offered more opportunities in these areas than any other city, which is why she decided to move there. Shortly after moving to Los Angeles, Maya landed some modeling gigs, but as a singer, she didn't achieve much at first. She also began a relationship with a man whose identity has not been revealed, but he was 40 years old at the time. This relationship didn't last long, and Maya and this man broke up a few months later. In 2022, when Maya was 23, she met a 63-year-old man named David Simonini through the Tinder app. At the start of their relationship, Maya began posting several photos of herself with David on her social media, along with love declarations. Many of her followers criticized her, claiming David was too old and that she was probably with him for his money, as David is a millionaire. Maya responded to these criticisms by saying she and David were soulmates, that they had a lot in common, and that they completed each other. The criticism didn't stop and intensified even further after David gifted Maya a Mercedes worth $175,000. According to sources, Maya eventually had to block some people on her social media due to the numerous offensive comments she was receiving. Maya and David's relationship lasted about a year, and Maya herself reportedly said it was great while it lasted. During this time, Maya was also investing in her music career. In fact, one of her songs reached 8th place on the R&B Soul iTunes chart. Maya was very happy and proud of herself for this achievement, and began to believe that her dream was getting closer to reality. In April 2023, while working at a party in Miami, Florida, Maya met a 40-year-old man named Ammar Mahmoud. Ammar is a renowned cosmetic surgeon of Syrian descent. He is part of the board of directors of Anatomical Clinical Research and specializes in regenerative aesthetic procedures. Maya was captivated by him, finding him both intelligent and charming. They spent some time talking at the party and exchanged contact information. The following day, Ammar sent Maya romantic messages and then asked for her address to send flowers. He continued this in the following days until he invited Maya to go out, and she accepted. Ammar took her to an expensive restaurant and even hired musicians to serenade her. Maya was even more captivated by him, and from that moment on, they began a relationship. Ammar acted like a perfect gentleman, treating Maya like a princess, always declaring his love for her and showering her with gifts. Soon after, Ammar invited Maya to his apartment. A luxury apartment located on 5th Avenue in New York City, valued at nearly $2 million. A few days later, Ammar tells Maya to prepare her passport because he has a big surprise for her. Maya prepares her passport and says everything is ready for him, and Ammar takes her on a private jet to Dubai. In Dubai, the couple frequented the best and most expensive places. Ammar also bought numerous gifts for the young woman, who, dazzled by everything, believed she was living a dream. But what she didn't realize was that this dream would soon turn into a nightmare. Before we continue with the story, we need to delve deeper into Ammar's life to better understand the kind of person he is. In 2011, Ammar's mother, Daed Nokari, traveled from the United States to Syria with the goal of finding a suitable wife for her son. In Syria, she met a young woman named Maiz al-Nukari, who, according to sources, is the daughter of people known to Daed. The woman spoke to the young girl about her goal, saying she had a young, handsome, and very intelligent son who was a doctor and lived in the United States, and that he was looking for a wife from Syria. Maiz al-Nuqari was excited. She was also a doctor, but in the field of dermatology. She had the dream of one day working and living in the United States, but was still learning English, which is why she hadn't moved yet. The young Syrian woman agreed to meet Dade's son, Ammar Mahmoud. In the following days, Maiz and Ammar kept in touch, mostly communicating through Skype. They continued their virtual communication to get to know each other better for at least 2 years, until in 2013, Maiz traveled to the United States to marry Ammar. After the wedding, Maiz moved in with Ammar and his parents, as they lived together at the time. Although the young Syrian woman had a medical degree, she couldn't practice her profession in the United States because she only knew basic English. As a result, she became completely dependent on her husband and his parents, which, according to her, was horrible. According to Maiz, things started to feel strange as soon as she set foot in the United States. She said the behavior of Ammar's family and even Ammar himself was different, as if they didn't want her around. She said she suffered her first humiliation just a few days after arriving at the family home. At the time, Maiz was required to visit a gynecologist to prove she was a virgin. However, Ammar's mother, who is also a doctor, insisted that she would perform the exam herself, claiming that a gynecologist in the United States was too expensive. Ammar's mother then ordered Maiz to remove her clothes and lie on a computer desk in their home, where the examination was conducted. Maiz said she felt deeply humiliated by the entire situation, but things would only get worse. During their honeymoon, Maiz asked Ammar to be gentle and careful with her, as she was still a virgin and feared she might get hurt. Ammar ignored her request and was extremely violent with his wife, to the point where she begged him to stop. Instead of stopping, Ammar forced himself on her, completing the act despite her pleas. Afterward, Maiz was deeply shaken and began to fear her husband and his parents. In December of that same year, 2013, Ammar physically assaulted his wife and then attempted to suffocate her with a pillow. In March of the following year, 2014, Ammar hit his wife with a book, and after leaving her badly injured, he locked her out of the house in the cold while she was only wearing pajamas. Around this same time, Ammar was bodybuilding and frequently used hormone injections to enhance his muscle growth. He often criticized his wife's body, telling her she should also start bodybuilding and use hormone injections. Ammar never missed an opportunity to belittle and humiliate his wife, finding some twisted pleasure in doing so. Maiz agreed to go to the gym with her husband, but she refused to use hormone injections, as she feared they would harm her health. Ammar didn't accept this, and insisted that she do what he commanded. He then forcibly administered the hormones to her. The young Syrian woman tried to resist, but it was in vain. Maiz could no longer endure the constant humiliations and abuse. She tried to ask Ammar's parents for help, but they sided with their son. She began to think about how she could ask for a divorce and return to Syria safely, as she was entirely dependent on her husband. Without Ammar knowing, Maiz started communicating with her family in Syria, telling them about the abuse she had endured and asking for help. Thanks to this, in mid-2014, Maiz al-Nuqari managed to divorce Ammar Mahmoud and return to Syria. However, the nightmare was far from over. Soon after the divorce, Ammar's mother began telling her friends in Syria that her son's marriage ended because Maiz was a hermaphrodite. Ammar's mother claimed she knew this because she had conducted an examination on Maiz to determine if she was a virgin and concluded that she was a hermaphrodite. It didn't take long for the rumor to spread among some people in Syria, eventually reaching the ears of Maiz al-Nuqari, who was shocked by the story. This could further ruin the young Syrian woman's chances of marrying again one day. Outraged, she sought legal representation in the United States to file a lawsuit against her ex-husband. Maiz al-Nuqari filed 37 lawsuits against Ammar Mahmoud in the Manhattan Civil Court, including charges of assault and defamation. The case dragged on for years, as the young woman had few pieces of evidence and no witnesses to back up her accusations. As a result, many people were skeptical of the truth behind her claims, but after what Ammar Mahmoud did to Willow Sias, people began to believe Maiz. Now let's return to the case of Maya, Willow, Sias. After Maya and Ammar returned from their trip to Dubai, Ammar invited Maya to live with him in his luxury apartment. Maya accepted the invitation, and within a few days, she moved in. Everything seemed fine at first, but it didn't take long for Ammar to reveal his true nature. First, Ammar began to isolate Maya from communicating with her friends and even her family. He also disliked her being active on social media, something she frequently used due to her work. When Maya refused to do anything Ammar ordered, he would become violent, only to later pretend to feel remorse and repeatedly apologize. He did this countless times, almost like following a pattern. Ammar also didn't like when Maya went out to handle work-related matters. Although Maya didn't know anyone in New York, she managed to secure a few small modeling jobs. Without her knowledge, Ammar installed a tracking app on her phone and began to monitor her every move when she went out alone. As time passed, things only got worse. By day, Ammar worked at an aesthetic clinic, catering mostly to wealthy clients, and by night, he attended parties filled with alcohol and illegal substances. These substances made Ammar even more violent. At one point, in order to have more control over Maya, he began drugging her without her knowledge. First, he started putting sedatives in her food and drinks, and later he began offering her these same sedatives, lying and claiming they were supplements that would be good for her. With these sedatives in her system, Maya spent more time asleep than awake. During this time, she rarely posted anything on her social media and didn't communicate as frequently with her friends and family. While Maya was completely drugged, Ammar took the opportunity to host private parties in his apartment, where he hired prostitutes and consumed large amounts of drugs. On one occasion, Maya woke up in the middle of the night after the sedative's effect had worn off. As she got up, she heard noises coming from the living room of the apartment. When she went to check what it was, she caught Ammar with 3 prostitutes in the act. Maya started shouting at him and told the 3 women to leave. After they left, Ammar began to physically assault Maya, leaving her badly injured. The next day, Ammar showered Maya with gifts and begged for forgiveness. Maya accepted the gifts and the apology, but this would not be the last time such an incident occurred. One night, once again in the middle of the night, Maya woke up to noises coming from one of the bedrooms in the apartment. When she went to the room, she found the door locked, and when she knocked, a woman answered. This woman was another prostitute hired by Ammar, who at his command slapped Maya in the face as soon as the door was opened. After that, Ammar encouraged the other prostitutes with him to also hit Maya, saying that it was all part of their fantasy and that he would pay more for it. Ammar also assaulted the young woman, and due to all the violence, she became unconscious, only regaining consciousness the next day. When she woke up, Maya felt very ill. Her whole body ached, and she couldn't open her right eye because her orbital bone was broken. Ammar followed the same pattern, apologized, gave her gifts, but this time, Maya hesitated to accept them. She said that she needed to go to the doctor to get some tests done because she was severely injured. Ammar refused, fearing that she would report him. He kept Maya locked in his apartment against her will for more than a month. His goal was to maintain control over her until he could make her forgive him and somehow make her forget what he had done. As the days went by, Maya's eye worsened. Ammar then said he would treat her himself and that she would get better. The man injected a substance used for aesthetic treatments above her eye. He did this sadistically without anesthesia so that she would suffer. This substance did nothing to improve Maya's condition. On the contrary, it only made things worse, especially because the substance was not suitable for treatment. In addition to his sadism, Ammar also did this to protect himself, as if Maya reported him, he could claim that her eye was in that condition not because he had assaulted her, but because it was the result of a failed aesthetic procedure. In December 2023, Maya realized that if she stayed with Ammar, she would end up dead. It took her about 8 months to realize that he wasn't the Prince Charming she had expected. It was then that Maya decided to escape and never look back. She waited for Ammar to leave for work, packed her things, and I'm not sure whether she broke the apartment's front door or found a hidden key. The fact is, after escaping the apartment, she went straight to the airport and took a flight to Los Angeles. Upon arriving in Los Angeles, she had time to reflect on everything she had been through and then sought medical treatment. In addition to the numerous injuries on her body, such as her broken right orbital bone, Maya also suffered severe psychological damage. The young woman was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and panic disorder. Determined not to let Ammar get away with it, Maya, along with his ex-wife, sought legal representation and filed a lawsuit against Ammar. According to sources, Maya is demanding a sum of $10 million for the physical and psychological damages Ammar caused her. Ammar Mahmoud was summoned by the police to provide clarification, but he denied all accusations. Besides her injuries and her testimony, Maya has no other proof against Ammar Mahmoud. As a result, the man has not been arrested. According to sources, there is a record of a call made by Maya to 911 a few months before she decided to flee. Maya reportedly made the call from Ammar's apartment after being assaulted by him. According to her, at Ammar's request, who threatened that she would ruin his career, she withdrew the complaint she had filed. Currently, Ammar Mahmoud is facing lawsuits from both Maya Sias and Maiz al-Nukari, his ex-wife who lives in Syria. According to a report by the New York Post, Ammar continues with his life as usual. A few months ago, he was spotted with two women shopping for items at Louis Vuitton and later buying bottles of wine at a liquor store in New York. During my research for this case, I came across some interesting comments. Some people believe Maya is lying to get money from Ammar, while others argued that Maya is telling the truth, pointing to Ammar's history with his ex-wife as evidence of that. But I'd like to know what you think. Do you believe Maya is telling the truth, or is it all made up? Leave your opinion in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next video.